Hey everyone! Today, we're diving deep into one of the most captivating and controversial topics in modern history. Did the USA really land on the moon? Before we start, we hope you'll push the like button, subscribe for more weekly videos, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. The year is 1969, and the world is engulfed in the Cold War, a geopolitical tension that pits the United States against the Soviet Union. This rivalry fueled an intense competition known as the space race, which was marked by groundbreaking achievements in space exploration. After the Soviet Union successfully launched Sputnik, the first artificial satellite, in 1957, the US felt immense pressure to demonstrate its technological prowess. This led to the establishment of NASA and the Apollo program, a series of missions aimed at landing humans on the moon and returning them safely to Earth. The culmination of this ambitious program occurred on July 20th, 1969, when Apollo 11 made history as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to set foot on the lunar surface. Armstrong famously declared, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind," as he took his historic first step onto the moon. Supporters of the moon landing point to a wealth of scientific evidence that they believe confirms its authenticity. For starters, NASA returned a staggering 382 kilograms of lunar rocks and soil, which have been studied extensively by scientists worldwide. These samples possess unique isotopic signatures and mineral compositions that differ significantly from any rocks found on Earth. For example, lunar basalt contains higher levels of titanium and lower levels of volatile elements, characteristics that researchers argue could only originate from the moon. Studies of these lunar samples have provided invaluable insights into the moon's formation, geology, and the processes that have shaped its surface over billions of years. Moreover, the Apollo missions produced thousands of photographs and hours of video footage documenting the journey to the moon and the activities conducted on its surface. Critics of the moon landing often cite perceived anomalies in these images, claiming they suggest manipulation or staging. For instance, some skeptics argue that the way shadows appear in the photos indicates artificial lighting. However, many experts explain that these phenomena can be attributed to the physics of the lunar environment. The sun's light creates shadows that can appear distorted due to the uneven terrain, and the lack of atmosphere on the moon means that shadows are sharper and more pronounced than those on Earth. The American flag, which appears to be waving in some photographs, is another point of contention. However, this waving effect is actually due to the flag's design, which included a horizontal rod to keep it extended, giving it the appearance of movement in a vacuum. In addition to physical evidence, there's also extensive telemetry data from the Apollo missions. This data includes thousands of measurements taken during the journey to the moon and back, encompassing everything from spacecraft speed to environmental conditions. This telemetry has been cross-referenced and verified by independent analysts and scientists. Many have pointed out that tracking of Apollo missions was not just conducted by NASA. Other nations, including the Soviet Union, also monitored the missions and were quick to acknowledge the US achievement, which would have been unlikely if they believed the landings were a hoax. The International Tracking Network included ground stations in various countries, and the data collected was made publicly available, allowing for independent verification. Now, let's turn to the other side of the argument. Skeptics of the moon landing present a variety of conspiracy theories that challenge the official narrative. One of the most popular claims is that the landing was staged on Earth, potentially in a Hollywood studio, citing supposed inconsistencies in the photographs and video footage. Some skeptics argue that the technology to achieve a successful moon landing was not sufficiently advanced at the time, and posit that the US government fabricated the event to maintain its image and superiority over the Soviets. This theory is fueled by the idea that the US was losing ground in the space race after the Soviet Union's early achievements, such as launching the first human, Yuri Gagarin, into space in 1961 and placing the first woman, Valentina Tereshkova, in space in 1963. Additionally, skeptics highlight the absence of stars in the lunar photographs, claiming this absence is evidence of photo manipulation. They argue that the vastness of space should make stars visible in the background of the lunar landscape. However, experts explain that the exposure settings used for the cameras were not sensitive enough to capture distant stars against the bright lunar surface. The camera was set to expose for the brightly lit lunar surface, making it impossible to capture the faint light of distant stars at the same time. In response to these claims, numerous scientists and experts have conducted thorough analyses to debunk the myths surrounding the moon landing. NASA has released extensive technical documentation and photographs from the missions, providing transparency about the processes and technologies used. They have also invited independent researchers to examine the lunar rocks and telemetry data, further reinforcing the credibility of the missions. The scientific community has largely accepted the evidence supporting the moon landings, and many researchers have published peer-reviewed articles analyzing various aspects of the missions. One of the strongest arguments against the conspiracy theories is the sheer scale of the Apollo program. Over 400,000 people worked on Apollo missions, including engineers, scientists, and technicians from diverse fields. The complexity of such a vast operation makes it highly improbable that all participants could maintain silence if the landings were indeed faked. Furthermore, many scientists and engineers from around the world collaborated with NASA, making it even more difficult to conceal a conspiracy of this magnitude. The idea that such a large group could coordinate and keep such a monumental secret is a point that skeptics struggle to refute. The global response to the moon landing was overwhelmingly positive, with countries around the world celebrating the achievement. The event was broadcast live to millions, capturing the imagination of people globally and sparking interest in science and space exploration. If the landings were staged, how could so many independent observers, including rival nations like the Soviet Union, confirm the event? The Soviet space program had the capability to track the Apollo missions and was quick to acknowledge the achievement, which adds to the credibility of the moon landing narrative. As we dissect this topic, it's important to address some common myths surrounding the moon landing. One prevalent myth is that the lunar landings could not have taken place because the technology available at the time was insufficient. However, many engineers and scientists argue that the technological advancements made during the Apollo program were revolutionary and laid the groundwork for future space exploration. The development of the Saturn V rocket, the lunar module, and various spacecraft technologies were pioneering achievements that showcased human ingenuity and capability. Ultimately, the question of whether the USA really landed on the moon is complex and multifaceted. On one side, we have substantial scientific evidence and historical context that strongly support the authenticity of the Apollo missions. On the other side, there are compelling conspiracy theories that challenge the narrative, fueled by skepticism and a distrust of government institutions. It's important to note that healthy skepticism can drive scientific inquiry and progress, but it must be balanced with critical thinking and evidence-based analysis. As we reflect on this topic, it's essential to approach it with an open mind and a critical eye. The moon landing represents not just a significant achievement in human history, but also a testament to scientific exploration and discovery. It's a reminder of what humanity can achieve when it unites in pursuit of knowledge and understanding. The Apollo missions inspired generations to look toward the stars and dream of future exploration, reminding us of our innate curiosity and desire to explore the unknown. What do you think? Did the USA really land on the moon? Or do you lean towards the skeptical side of the debate? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into history and science, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.